So I'm going to try and create a video to show you how to remove an airlock in the washer system. So firstly I would like to check the tubing behind the silver tray. So I would like you to drop the silver tray down, remove the dispense bottles, both tanks, and remove the liquid waste tank. And this will then expose the tubing behind here that goes through these control valves. One at a time, I would like you to slide the tubing out, make sure there are no kinks and trappages in the tubing, and then fully insert the tubing back in and just tidy the tubing up so there's no traps or kinks in the tube. And repeat the process for all 4 valves. One at a time, slide the tubing out and then tidy them back up. Okay, once you've completed this, all the tubing should be sat nicely through the centre of each of these valves and there is no kinks in the tubing. If the tubing isn't neat, just tidy it up by sliding the tubing up or down, either way. Okay, and then replace the tanks that you removed earlier, fully inserting the connectors. So, with the machine running, I'm now going to load a wash test from wash test tank A, and I'm going to program 96 samples, a full rack of samples. So I'm going to click on File, Work List Editor, tell the machine they are new samples, and I'm going to type 96 in here, and I'm going to use a pattern of number 1 through to 96, and this is just called the sample numbers 1 to 96. Select Next. I'm now going to scroll down on the right hand side and find my wash test tank A, and then add assay, and then click Done. So the machine has now accepted the samples and it's built a timeline. I'm going to press the accept button and then I'll press the skip button. So the first thing it's asking me for is 96 sample tubes. I can ignore this and just click the tick. The machine is now asking me to load a full test plate, 96 wells, and it's asking me to give a plate identifier name. I can call this anything, and I'm going to clip this plate into the reader so it's fully clipped in, like so, and then click the tick on the software. The machine is now asking me to load my wash buffer into position A behind the silver tray. Now at this point I would like you to get a syringe and fill this syringe with distilled deionized water. Like so. So you've got a syringe full of water, and I want to connect this to the bottle A by firstly removing the tubing from the top of the tank, like so, and connect the syringe to the tubing. Okay, and now I'll come back to that in a minute. And then click the tick. The machine's now asking you to load deionized water in the clean line. Once you've completed this, again click the tick. And the last message, it's asking you to empty the 2 waste tanks. Click the tick. So at this point, if I return to the syringe, I can't press the syringe, there's pressure in there, so it won't allow me to actually compress the syringe. When the actual machine starts washing, I'm going to press and hold this with a little bit of pressure on the system, and when the machine allows me to inject the water into the system, I'm going to. Hope that makes sense. So press skip on the software, and now I'm press and holding pressure on this syringe, and now I'm allowed to force liquid through the system. And again, now the pressure's back on. Keep the pressure held. And the machine will allow you to inject liquid in. Once you've completed this, disconnect the tubing and connect it back onto the tank. And that should then start washing normally. And you can see liquid going into the wells and being aspirated out. Machine still isn't washing, repeat the process, remove the tubing, connect your syringe back up and try and inject back in even more liquid, and hopefully this process will allow the pump to start to work again and remove the air out of the system. Once this is completed, I'm then going to repeat the process and do the exact same thing, but this time I'm going to use tank B rather than tank A, and I'm going to try and force the air out of the system from tank B as well. So I'm going to repeat the exact same process once this timeline has finished. So I'm going to click on File, Worklist Editor, New Samples. Again, I'm going to type in 96 and call them 1 to 96 and assign. Select Next. This time I'm going to choose the Wash Test Tank B assay and program this exactly the same as I did a little while ago. I'm going to accept and then skip. Again, it's asking me for 96 sample tubes. Ignore this and click the tick. My test plate is already loaded in the machine. Just type in a plate identifier and click the tick. And I'm now going to remove the tubing from tank B. Connect my syringe. And again, I'm going to return to that in a little while. Click the tick. It's asking me to fill the clean line. Clean line should already be filled. And it's asking me to empty my 2 waste tanks. Click the tick. And press skip. Again, I'm now going to apply pressure to the syringe and inject liquid into the system. Force liquid into the tubing. Press and hold the pressure. And you can see that it will allow me to inject liquid in there. And hold it again. And then remove the tubing from the syringe and reattach to the tank. That should resolve any airlocks that were in the DS2 system.